Let's get to the nightcap here, and it is Woodford Reserve Distillers Selection Select. That just means that the master distiller here, Chris Morris, is blending barrels together and coming up with this one here, which is 90.4 proof. So not over the top, but also not too weak. So a 90.4 proof here. As you can tell, it's sort of a coppery color. And I was going to get to this, but like the marketing with Woodford Reserve is like top notch here, because this is a bourbon that, for like the last 20 years has come in around $35. And 20 years ago, a $35 bourbon like this, you're thinking this is sort of like a premium bourbon here. But as the world of bourbon has really grown, really exploded here, Woodford stayed at that price, but all these other bourbons have caught up to them. And at this price point, which is still pretty good price point, like if you're just getting into bourbon, you can find some really good bottles, but yet Woodford still sort of has this premium status, even though maybe the bourbon doesn't really match the premium status that it has. So we can get into it here, but the marketing with Woodford is top notch. The feel around Woodford, this bottle makes it feel like it's a premium bottle. And really Woodford is all about sort of like, it's a bourbon's bourbon, it looks like a bourbon, and we'll get into it here. But if my memory serves me right, it tastes like what you think bourbon should taste like. It looks like bourbon, and it's all around bourbon, And I know a lot of people who, they don't normally drink bourbon, but around the holidays, they like to get a bottle, and that bottle for them is Woodford. So it kind of just goes to tell you what its status is, And so we smell this here, and it just smells, this is like a classic bourbon, It's got vanilla, it's got oak, it's got a citrusy thing going on, a little cinnamon maybe, just a sweetness you can kind of smell. And we can go ahead and taste it here. Yeah, like sweet off the front, a little bit of honey, a little bit of citrus. It drinks sort of light. This is a good bourbon for somebody who doesn't normally drink bourbon but likes to get into it. Also, a good bourbon for someone who just likes to like enjoy like an easy drinking bourbon. They're not looking for something super complex or super. You know what you're getting with a Woodford, and this is a good one for that. The finish, a little bit oaky, a little bit leather, I guess, is something that you talk about with bourbon. And so this is just sort of like a bourbon's bourbon. And, that comes with the marketing of it. That comes with the consistency with it. And so a lot to be applauded there for Woodford Reserve Distillers Select. And so this is a nice bourbon. This is a good bottle to get if you're interested in bourbon. Definitely something worth having on your cart. And, it's maybe not the premium bourbon that the marketing has led you to believe, but it's still solid and it's a good choice. And it's something that you should definitely taste if you've never had a Woodford. So Woodford, that's sort of like a good also go-to, like when you're out at the bar. It's kind of like in the Scotch world, if you're like, I'll have a Macallan 12. That sort of is the same thing to me, where maybe at that price point you can find better Scotch, but Macallan has sort of established itself through marketing as like this Scotch. Woodford to me is sort of the same thing, but in the bourbon world. That's how I look at it. So